Welcome to Wise Up Governance and Boards podcast, brought to you by 3 Wise Owls Governance Consultants. Covering hot topics in governance, risk, latest regulatory changes, and issues keeping directors and executives awake at night. Here are your hosts, Ainslie Cunningham and Deb Anderson.
Welcome to another episode of Wise Up. Today we're joined by Theo Vairaktaris. Theodore is the founder and sole owner of the Taris Property Group and the Usher Group. The Usher Group started out as a humble small painting business on the Gold Coast. Almost 2 decades on, the Usher Group is recognised as one of the construction and trade industry's most recognisable businesses. Painting is still at the heart of what the Usher Group does. Yet today the company works across 9 different service areas, including solid plastering, signage, property maintenance, swinging stage and mast climber access solutions, electrical, refrigeration and mechanical, landscaping and labour hire. With such an expansive collection of services at Usher Group, their strongest belief is that they establish themselves as their client's project partner, reflecting the quality of service that they strive to sustain and deliver. As a family-owned company, Theodore Vairaktaris is most proud of the Usher Group family. Their 500-plus strong team of exceptionally highly skilled individuals specially selected for their passion, work ethic and shared commitment to delivering a high standard of work for their clients. The Usher Group has been recognised over years with countless awards for business, training and innovation, and was last year named Gold Coast 2019 Supreme Winner Business of the Year at the Gold Coast Business Excellence Awards. Usher Group have also recently won the monthly award for October 2020. Well done, Theo. Welcome.
Cheers. Thanks for having me. Wow, after hearing that, it just gets me a bit emotional. Like, wow, it's really good to sometimes.
An amazing journey.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Theo and the journey that's taken you to get here.
Okay, the journey. How far back are we going?
Start back at 1.
Yeah, okay, so...
Architecture.
When I studied architecture and did my 1 year in a firm, and then found myself not enjoying the day-to-day in an office, and then went out there and started a business. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But so going way back, I've like you said, Ainslie, I've got humble beginnings, and I grew up in a housing commission upbringing. So that was the environment, I believe, that, built my passion and purpose in a really young and early age. So a lot of people talk about, entrepreneurship and how that's developed, and whether it's you're born with it or whether anyone can have it. I sort of find that there's so many different definitions of it, but I found that it was my environment that actually got me super excited and super passionate to succeed in just anything that I put my mind to. So, I actually vowed that I was never going to be a painter. My father was a painter, and I used to see him come home from work being a tradie and, paint on him and working hard and whatnot, and trying to do the best he could for us all, and with mum as well, and working AGC, and she ended up working at Movie World Cash Office for 10 years. So I vowed I wasn't going to be a painter, and I went and studied. So I studied architecture. Didn't really like that environment where I was just, working in an office. There was no real platform for me to use any artistic flair. Sort of felt like you really had to be the grey-haired army before you could, use any artistic flair in an office like that. So then I deferred to Bachelor of Business, and I did that for 6 months, and then I deferred again, and I haven't been back since. So, and then I started the painting business, and it's been an awesome journey, up, down, sideways, roller coaster ride. But it's definitely shaped me to the person I am today. I'm so grateful for the journey, and I absolutely love it. I love what I do. I love Usher. I love how we operate in the community. I love how we present ourselves in the construction industry, and it's just really cool.
So tell us a little bit about the Usher Group. Obviously, it's a unique value proposition that wasn't really around pre what you were doing in terms of sort of a collaborative platform?
Yeah, so what we were painters, and as we were growing through the different industries, the construction, repaint industry, the small sort of light commercial, say shop fit out industries, we just had a different approach where we built that brand promise, where it was basically your project partner. I found that, during our journey, it's not really that hard to do the right thing, and it's not really that hard to, really enjoy what you do. And for me, I really love painting, as I was just mentioning before, Deb. I still paint now. I really love it, and I believe it was the passion and the purpose in me that really helped me deliver an awesome product. When someone loves what they do, when they're really passionate about their trade, when they can see that possibly the trade was perceived as, the painters, sort of like chippies, builders, I should have said carpenters, electricians and plumbers. They're sort of perceived as a little bit, I don't know how to put the right wording, but they look a little bit higher than a painter. And I found that, upsetting. So I really sort of embarked on trying to help professionalise our industry as much as I could, and just starting from the ground up. So just all the little things about teaching our trades and our apprentices coming up through the ranks of putting my passion and my beliefs and installing those core values and agreed behaviours into my team really propelled us ready for the next stage, which was dealing with people and culture.
So tell us a little bit about the people and culture side of the business. How has that, obviously it was going really well, and now, with COVID, has that kind of changed the dynamics slightly, or?
If we didn't have those core values and agreed behaviours, which pretty much set the base for our culture, we would not have navigated through COVID the way we have. And I'm so proud of the team, and they've all rallying behind our brand, our group, rallying behind our people in Melbourne that are doing it real tough. I'm super impressed, and I'm so grateful for those people down there. They've just been absolute amazing humans, and what they're dealing with, and how they're keeping, positive in this environment, and just the collaboration between all the officers of Usher, and how they're coming together to really, grow out of this the right way. But it was the culture. So, and I found that without the right culture, I would not have been able to be a business that employed the right people, or possibly attracted the right people. So we have lots of fun at Usher, probably a little bit too much, but we're a big beehive of passionate people. We're, anyone in our business could pretty much take their Usher badge off, and they could go outside of Usher and be they're a weapon in their own right. They're an expert in their own field, in their own right. But together, building those people together and wearing that Usher brand, we're something greater than we can all be, individually. So how it sort of really got us through those times of COVID was when we got to really fall back. We all couldn't say, oh yeah, we've got core values, they're up on the screen or in the office wall somewhere, and yeah, we've got our agreed behaviours because we want to be ethical and transparent and all these other, really good positive traits that we should all encourage each other to do and evolve into. But it was those core values and agreed behaviours that really we got to fall back on in times of adversity. Who are we? What do we agree we're going to do? How are we going to operate in this environment, with our colleagues, our peers, our clients, which, our customers. And it was that base that really propelled us and kept the vibe high and kept everyone watching each other's back. And, we've got people there that the department they work in, our customers, well, then they're not working either. So they don't really have a dialogue to talk to their customers. They can call them and go, how you going? What's happening? But there's no real work to be engaged in. So a colleague seeing another colleague like that and then basically saying, hey, I know you don't have much to do. Let's repurpose our staff. Let's find other areas of the business where they can work. And it wasn't just about, oh, look, we're just employing our people. We're not going to get rid of them. It was about still having them motivated, having them, having some job satisfaction, that they want to come to work. We want them to enjoy themselves at work, not wake up in the morning and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to go there. What am I going to do? I'm going to paper shuffle. Like, it wasn't about that. It was actually making sure our people were still mentally happy and, mentally positive. So it was those core values that really bounded everyone together.
And has your culture been the same since the beginning through to now, where you've got sort of 500 plus employees, or have you had to sort of...
No, we've definitely had to work on it along the way. There's definitely... And I believe it's forever evolving. Like, what is culture? It's more like, for me, it's like what we agree is the behaviour and sort of like what the group does that builds success, and then people want to join those groups. So if we as humans want to be in a group, we sort of adapt to that group and what's that behaviour mean, and sort of then really guides what your day-to-day, looks like. And so when we do that, then we then become part of a unit. And when we do that, I find that we really succeed better. And yeah, so to answer your question, it's always evolving and we're always learning. So we find ourselves in this ever-changing market where things will occur, and then we'll have to discuss it and openly decide how we're going to navigate that and what's the right way. So I believe transparency is like a huge, massive core value of ours, because our people having the confidence to be able to say, hey, look, there's some spilt milk here, or I don't think I handled that correctly, or, what do you think about this? Because they're not really liking how, we're responding in this manner. If you don't have that core value, we're never really going to evolve our culture and really learn from the day-to-day experiences that we're up against.
So I know we've chatted briefly in the past about the culture that you've kind of built in the office in terms of, where you position people and kind of really helping draw out that, cultivated environment and making sure that people are bouncing the right ideas off people. And so how have you positioned that? How have you gone about that?
Well, I think it's our focus was more on the well-being. We've got core values, agreed behaviours, team building exercises, camps, retreats, whatnot. But I found that when we really harnessed, the power of well-being, it really then engages people to want to build on the culture. So,
like dealing with personality types, for instance, different ages, different genders, different, extroverts, introverts.
Oh yeah, we're all different.
How do you navigate that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. Do you know the answer to that?
No, but I think you guys do it well. So
yeah. I think first of all is understanding who we all are. So understanding and not being afraid of profiling, going through DISC profiles or, all the other different types of profiling that are out there. I think so. Once we understand and then we actually get people, even the introverts, to be like, hey, we already knew this, but yeah, I'm an introvert. And, we've got a couple there, and sometimes I really I love them in the office because they're sometimes like, yeah, I've had enough of humans for the day. I'm going to go and just get my work done. So I can really, see what type of people we have and our people know more about each other. So when we go through that profiling and we do it together as a team, and then we have to then talk about what we think each other are as well. So then that breeds so much cool stuff, because then, so many times you have a department, like say an operations department and a sales department conflicting, do you want to be a person that, I call them the block layers, are you putting a block between and building a wall between the department, or you're the person that's engaging the other side? And by understanding, what they do in the business, what type of person they are, then it helps build respect for each other, helps build more camaraderie, and that you understand what the person does and how they operate. So then you can really engage with them the right way, and how to engage with them. Some people, sit at the keyboard and thrash out emails. Some people don't like that at all and don't respond to them. And other, so there's all these different type of things. But I think to answer your question, it'd be by purely by understanding more about us as individuals, because we're all different and we're all unique.
And so how do you help the sales team know what the operations team do? Do you have like training days for them, or
we throw them in a room, close the door and go knock yourself down?
Job swap.
Yeah, we do encourage the collaborative environment. So even though there might be sales or operations or administration or our cross services, so we'll encourage them to form little teams within themselves. So if the sales department's representing one segment of our business, we'll highly encourage them. We'll pretty much throw them in a room and get together. But basically, so whoever's in the sales team and whoever's then delivering what they've sold, like, we highly encourage that collaborative environment, because that helps the old story about, whether anyone in the business touches a client or customer, they're actually a salesperson. So, we don't really want to just say sales and operations, because every person in that business, whether they're an age receivable person, or age payables, if they're interacting with anyone out there in the community or another business that we're engaging with, we want everyone in our business to breathe our brand promise, which is your project partner. So that means then we need to have everyone together that's involved in that segment. So say for scenario's sake, if it's the light commercial division, well, whoever's, in that sales department will engage with the operations department and also the administration department together.
So I was reading your profile on your website, Theo.
Yeah.
And it talked about the nightmare zone.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so...
Your nightmare zone.
Well, I find that when you're growing a business and you're, highly passionate and you've got your purpose and you've got your product, but you're wearing all these caps, and as a business owner, you're trying to do everything, and that's where we find a lot of companies, owners, like in burnout. And, my wife used to call me like dark. I used to leave at dark and get home at dark. And I wasn't coping, and I found myself stagnant because I couldn't grow the business. What I realized was that I needed to attract the right people. I needed to get the right people doing the right jobs. So that nightmare zone, I find sometimes I pin it to a turnover value, but it could be 1 million or 5 million. It could be any turnover value. It's just at that point where you're in the business and you're doing all the roles. And the only way to step out of that role is actually trusting people. And to do that, you've got to set the right culture up. So then I embarked for those next, say, 5 years of my journey into people, culture, and brand. Those three things there built me a really, really strong brand. I needed to have the right culture, which attracted the right people. And, we all have systems and processes, but, they really just guide our people. They just give our people some rule sets to work with in an organisation. It's the culture and the people that really grow the brand. The people represent our brand, and then they fall back on our culture, which is how to deliver that brand story. So the only way to get out of that nightmare zone, which was really tough for me because I was nervous about, if someone makes a mistake, can I afford it? You need people to go through that learning experience to grow in your organisation. And I didn't know if I could afford anyone to make a mistake. We want to capitalise on opportunity and mitigate risk, but how do you do that without putting trust and empowering people? So that was probably really tough for me. I don't want to say I'm a micromanager, but it was just really tough for me. And yeah, I grew out of that, and I had the right mentors at the time, and always bouncing off experts in the field. And I was told a fair few times that to get the right people in for the right job. And as soon as I did that, then they grew our business. They helped me grow on my systems and processes. They helped me develop them to an industry standard. They helped me, you can go through that whole thing about, you grow a business and it grows so fast you got to come back, build the systems and processes for it, because I didn't build them, before I grew. We grew, then had to come back a few notches and then build them and build a solid base. So, yeah, the nightmare zone is tough, and I really feel for any young business owners or old business. It doesn't matter what age you are. Anyone that's going through that stage in their life right now, reach out, get some help, because you're not going to get out of it thinking that you're going to do it all yourself.
And it can be quite challenging for family businesses in particular, can't it? Because you've got the family dynamics. You're wanting to grow, so that can be quite challenging in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, Mum was our first office employee. When she'd finished up at Moville, she came over and worked in our office and helped me organise myself in my administration. At that time, I was actually living in my factory. I had a factory out at Southport, and my humble beginnings there was I actually slept on a mattress on my half pipe in the factory, and Mum would come to the office, and it was super cool. I really enjoy those days and how they've brought me to where I am today.
I think it just puts it in perspective too, like when you do work so hard to build something of your own and you do have to put in that sort of blood, sweat and tears, it actually sort of does help cement that.
It definitely gives me a lot of perspective of, how grateful I am and live in the moment. We all have up and down days, but enjoy them for what they are. We've got a saying that we say at Usher. It's the spilt milk. It's not about people say, then that's you're learning. We call it all experiences. We need those experiences in our work life, in our home life, to make us better at what we do, help us be better versions of ourselves, and have fun while we're doing it, because we can see through those experiences, how that occurred and how it shouldn't happen again.
So you sort of briefly touched on before having mentors. So obviously as a CEO and a founder, it can be a lonely place at the top. How do you stay motivated and energised for your team? And how do you level up yourself and attract the right people around you to help you do your job as opposed to the business?
Yeah. How do I motivate myself? I find that I'm just a really highly motivated person. I think it just comes back to like loving what you do. I really do love what we do, and I love the Usher Group, and coming home to my two amazing children and my wife. I'm really got a lot of gratitude, and I find that I'm a really highly energetic person. But it's managing that energy too, because there's lots of people that drain it. There's lots of people that expect me to give them that added energy. When I come to the office, sometimes they want to see me because whatever they're going through at home or whatever, and they want to feed off my energy. So I typically always want to try and ensure that I'm managing my energy correctly, and knowing that I'm ready to serve my people and give them the energy that's required. And in the same sentence, I don't want to deplete myself, because then I'm not helping my people and I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not fulfilling my role at Usher if I'm depleting myself. With what you were saying there about leadership, I just read this book by Peter Cox, and we've just engaged him. He's heard me say this. It's the first chapter is being led. I felt that term was a little bit odd for me, because I'm a bloke and in the construction industry and very passionate and whatever you want to call it, entrepreneurial, and I'm not led. I'm out there charging away, but I read the chapter and I had to contact him straight after it. I was like, wow, like I've realised that I've actually been led my whole life, whether that's at work, in my sports that I love, whether it's my home life, whether it's, growing my children. Being led, I used to call it being mentored, or having mentors, or having experts that help me with whatever challenging task I was facing at that time, whether in my career or at home or anything that I'm up against. But the fact is that we are all led. Like, we all lean on our friends, our family. We lean on experts out there in the industry. We lean on professional people to help us and guide us. And I feel, like you said, that showing that to our people and having our people understand that to look for external people outside of Usher for mentorship, look for someone that you can collaborate with that's going through something that they're going through, that's possibly out there in the industry, that's in a different organisation, however, going through the same, struggles or tasks that we're going through. And so now, like I was saying, we're just engaged a new leadership program. So we want to bring our whole executive leadership team up to that next level. So, we all can't grow unless everyone's growing together. So it's a new platform. I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to undertake it as well. And I believe that we never stop learning. So when you encourage that type of culture, I believe it uplifts our people because they know that they're in an environment that they're going to grow, that an environment that they're going to constantly learn and be challenged, and an environment where they get to actually have a voice too, because through any type of leadership platform, we're actually going to, have feedback. It's a complete feedback loop. We're going to see what they're struggling with. We're going to understand what they're actually going through. So I'm super excited about it, and I 100% encourage all businesses to, it's investing in your team. During that COVID, our last executive team meeting was when I announced that, we're going to heavily invest in our people because I want to come out of this the right way, and I want to, so we put it forward and obviously got approved because it was such an amazing platform to be embarking on, but I felt like it's exactly the right thing to do, which is really going to propel Usher to where, in line with our strategic plan. Pre-COVID, we had a strategic growth plan. We tried to stay as true to it during COVID, but now we need to come out of there, ready to rock and roll.
So you've got a foundation, Usher Love.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So we've been supporting community initiatives and little, sporting teams and sponsoring people and, helping charities, whether it's through services or, work and community-based volunteer platforms like the Marine Rescue Service and all these different types of platforms and people that we support and charities. But we found it got so crazy over the years that no one actually knew what we did. Internally, our own staff didn't even know the level of support that we actually do out there in the community and all the charities that we actually support. So we had to not rein it in, but we had to rein it in into one platform. So then that's why we created Usher Love. So now we can actually clearly see and report on what we actually do out there and report back to our own people. And, we typically don't go out there and wave, the big flag out there to the world. However, I think it's really important for our people and our culture that our team knows the level of support that what the Usher Group actually does. And it's grown so much now. We actually invest a lot of money into the Usher Love platform. I can't tell you yet, but there's a couple of really cool initiatives that are about to be launched, and we're super excited about it. And, one of the really cool platforms that we have that was spawned through the Usher Love platform is called Usher Care, and it's based off 12 pillars. October's pillar is the month of kindness. So we have a person that comes out there and presents each new pillar to the Usher team. So we have a family barbecue and we present the new pillar and what that means and what that emotion or what that pillar does do for humans when we're doing that act of kindness to someone. So and what it would cure. We're all going through different things in life. The construction industry has one of the highest tolls of many different things like mental illness and lots of different things out there that are really, impacting the industry in a negative way. So those 12 pillars has been such a huge thing in Usher that I'm so proud of. And now, like, think about it today, we have all of October had potentially however many staff out there doing random acts of kindness. And the challenge was that we wanted them to do a random act of kindness, one per day, if they could, to someone that they didn't know. So we have this little nucleus here at Usher, and we're really proud of it that we've been having nominations from our team, and basically we don't know who's gonna win it, because there's all these amazing nominations of people dobbing in their colleagues, of everyone watching each other doing these random acts of kindness out there in the community. So it's super cool, and we're about to launch something as well that I'm a part of, that we're going to try and launch these 12 pillars on a global stage. So look out for that. That's something that I'm super excited about. I think it's been so huge that, and what it does for our culture is amazing. Our people all rally behind the Usher Love platform, and always putting their hand up about something they've heard out there in the community that we could possibly help with, or, you know, if someone's a small charity that's struggling, or so that doesn't mean just going and giving them donations. It's actually helping them create awareness and helping them be activated with the construction industry, which is then propelling them to, you know, where they need to be.
It's been quite a bit of research in terms of people that do random acts of kindness and the dopamine hits that they get. They get so much pleasure out of just giving.
Yeah, and like, seriously, you don't know what it does to someone. That random act of kindness might have given someone confidence to then talk to someone, because someone actually came out of their way and gave them an act of kindness. They might have been an introvert that struggled with, you know, confrontation, or you know, there's all these different things out there that love, happiness, kindness, you know, gratitude. When you show these acts in physical form, what it actually does to a human, it's like you're saying, there's chemical research like that proves that those type of random acts actually help people inside. And we won't actually truly know what it has actually helped them with, but you will see that they would have dealt with something inside, and it's an amazing thing.
And hopefully they pay it forward to someone else.
100%. That's what we encourage, yeah.
So I think that's about all we have time for today, Theo. But before we wrap up, there's sort of, is there top 3 things that you would share with other businesses out there that to help them kind of, if they're stuck in a rut or anything like that at the moment, what's the sort of top 3 things that you would tell them to focus on right now to sort of push forward?
I think if they're stuck in a rut, I think, you know, coming back to those just basic levels and understanding what's your purpose. I believe if you got your purpose clear and, you know, you find your passion in that purpose, then you're going to deliver an awesome product. You know, those 3 things there for me was really, really clear in my journey, that I was highly passionate and I had a purpose, which helped me deliver an awesome product. And then the next 3 is obviously people, culture, and brand. You know, so I think once your purpose is clear and you understand truly what you're focusing on and you're really clear about that, then you can really find really ignites you again. Sometimes we get a bit grey, like we find ourselves in a you know, what am I really doing? What's my real purpose? What am I selling, or what's my service, or what problem am I solving? You know, I think we've got to be really clear about what's my purpose, what's my goal here, what's my aim. I think if we can find and really define that, then we can be really clear with our people, we can be really clear about our strategic direction, and then we can really be clear about what results we want to achieve. So sometimes it's just coming back to those core basics. Yeah.
Great
Purpose
advice.
and passion.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers.
That's all for today. Until next time, happy podcasting. And remember, if you're enjoying the show, check out our other episodes and all things governance at www.3wiseowls.com.au.